All right, so good afternoon. My name is Barry Clouston, and I want to use this speech to kind of inform people on how our human nature is to normally judge what is in front of us, whether that be good or bad. It's something everybody, I believe, is guilty of, including myself. I've found myself doing it on numerous occasions, whether it be people, objects, and I think it's something that oftentimes it'll hurt us, but sometimes it can help. It just depends on the situation. And looking throughout history, I think it's something that has greatly affected the human race over the years. Judgments can be big or small. Like I said earlier, whether it be looking at somebody's clothing, their appearance, the lifestyle they lead, the choices they make, judgments everywhere. And the moral of the story is everyone judges in some form or another. It's something that we can't escape. We're all guilty of it, and it's something we need to do better on. In my life, I feel I found myself judging people and things I see rather harshly. It's some lessons I've learned hard. Um, and the scary thing about it is sometimes we may not even realize that we are doing it. Um, and it's hurt my reputation in the past, something I've had to overcome as I've gotten older. I'm still really young. I'm 18, so I'm learning as we go through life. Just growing pains, which everybody will go through. Um, I feel like the biggest issue we have is we judge things as they seem and not as they actually are. But I feel if we actually try to understand what it is we're having these judgments about, then we might be surprised by what we find. Things aren't always what they seem. It's kind of like the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. This afternoon, I want to discuss two examples of judgment. Um, First, I want to talk about Aesop's fable about the ant and the chrysalis, and then I want to discuss a time in my life where I've judged wrongly and how this relates to that situation I was in. To begin, I want to look at the fable, like I said. Um, the story of the ant and the chrysalis was not one I was familiar with. I'm not really familiar with Aesop's fables. We read them some in school. So I want to kind of explore the story behind it and the background of it and how it relates to certain points in my life. So Aesop tells the story of an ant who stumbled across a chrysalis and begins to think to itself, how could something so just ugly and unappealing exist in the world? Um, I thought it was silly at first, and I know others probably do too, to think that an ant would be thinking to itself about the chrysalis of all things. Um, but there's an important message to be understood here. After some time watching and judging it, um, this chrysalis, the ant continue to judge it. However, after some time, the chrysalis begins to hatch, like we all know they do, and then transforms into a butterfly. And to the ant's shock, out came that butterfly, and it wondered how something so pretty and beautiful came out of something so ugly. So that's something that I feel a lot of us, once again, judging something by its appearance rather than what it actually is. Um, in summary of this, like I said, shows that judgment's natural, but we need to be careful how we conduct it, because it's not hard to judge something or somebody completely wrong after we actually get to know them for who they are. Um, with that said, a real life example I have begins in elementary school onward. I had a lot of judgment issues. I still do. I'm trying to work on it, on how I view people. But at the elementary age, I think most kids have judgment issues when we don't really have any life experience. We don't know how it can hurt us or help us, and we just don't know better. As I stated before, I had some judgment issues, and unfortunately, I was seen as kind of a bully in elementary school. It's not something I'm proud of, and it hurt my reputation at that young of an age, and it was something that was hard to learn and grow out of. Um, a case of bad judgment that really sticks out to me um, is when I was in first grade, and we had a new kid, and he would soon become my best friend. Little did I know this. He was almost like a brother to me. His name was Steven. He came in first day of first grade, came in with a mohawk, and I thought, man, this kid is really, really weird. I was like, why would I come in with a hairdo like that? But, however, as time would have it, we ended up getting sat next to each other, and I was like, okay. So, and naturally, we had to talk to each other. So I began to notice we had a lot of the same interests, like playing video games and stuff, and we had a lot of that in common. Well, naturally, we just started kind of hanging around each other, and all the way from first grade up until about the end of middle school, when COVID ruined our 8th grade year, we kind of went our separate ways, interests, life changed. But um, I feel that my friendship and his, you know, we were close. I feel like we had a positive impact on one another. But the end result of this example of judgment well, it's nowhere as severe as some can be. In the fire service, we have a lot of judgment issues, I feel, everywhere. Thankfully, this case was nowhere severe, like I said, but I believe this was a prime example of misjudging somebody. The kid that became my best friend. Um, I know this is a lot different than an ant and a chrysalis out in the woods, but I feel like it's a very real issue that affects the world today. So, like I said, my experience was not with an ant and a chrysalis, but the message and the end result are the same. Um, as I explained, and with my own experiences, judgment will always be a flaw and a gift to humanity. Like I said, it's something that can help and hurt us, but it's something we all do, whether or not it benefits or hurts us. In closing, judgment is nothing you can get away from, but it's rather how we go about it that defines our character as who we are. So, thank you. And are there any questions? Stop.